So it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Eric McLuhan. He is an internationally known, award-winning lecturer on communication and media. He has over 40 years of teaching experience in subjects ranging from high-speed reading techniques to literature, communication theory, media, culture, and Egyptology. He has taught at colleges and universities throughout the United States, Canada, and abroad. In addition to co-authoring Laws of Media in 1988 and working closely for many years with his father, he has also been deeply involved in exploring media ecology and communications. Although his research and thinking has been published in books, magazines, and journals covering topics such as media, communications, perception, and literature since 1964, his most recent published work includes On Media Ecology, Theories of Communication, and Media and Formal Cause. 4 other books are currently in preparation. Dr. McLuhan is currently Director of Media Studies and lectures at the Harris Institute for the Arts in Toronto. Please welcome Eric McLuhan.
When my wife was received into the church, she's also a convert. It was here at St. Mike's, and she was baptized in his office by Father Sherrill, who was head of classics. And he was a crusty old Irishman. He'd been around for a long time, and he had a wonderful sense of humor. And as soon as he baptized my wife, he said, "Now, congratulations, my dear, you've just committed intellectual suicide." Which gives you a sense of the atmosphere in this city towards Catholics at the time. And this was only 30-some years ago, it wasn't that long ago. But the atmosphere when my father began working here was pretty impressive. If you were a Catholic, you were among the lowest of the low. You obviously had surrendered all your mental faculties to bureaucratic authority somewhere elsewhere in the world. And you're almost guaranteed that you would not get ahead in pretty much any profession. Certainly not in a place like the University of Toronto, which was very heavily, let me put it nicely and say, non-Catholic. So it meant quite a lot to my father to come here to a Catholic college in what was, let's say, somewhat embattled. It's very hard to imagine now, because things have changed so much, and we are probably 2 generations removed now from these events and these circumstances. I'm not going to say too much about my father's faith. You've seen quite a lot, and probably heard quite a lot more than you want. I would want to bring up a couple of points that I learned from my father and from my Catholic education. First, about faith. In the non-Catholic world, faith is, as I said earlier, spoken of together with or is synonymous with opinion or belief, trust, or ideas. We have faith in the weather or the weatherman, or we don't. Maybe a bad example. But to a Catholic, faith isn't a set of ideas. You can have the faith and be a Catholic without having any ideas in particular, without having read any of the scriptures. Faith is more a matter of perception than concepts. It is, as we were always taught, a gift of the Holy Spirit. It's not a human thing. It's a gift directly from the Holy Ghost, from God. And it is not so much things that you know as a completely different way of knowing. It's another kind of sense. And that separates it directly from concepts and ideas and beliefs and opinions, which are just the content of knowing. But this is a way of knowing. somewhat different. My father's approach to Catholicism in the early days, and he told me this too, was it's either true or it's the biggest hoax ever perpetrated. And it's still going on. So, at some point in your intellectual development, you come up against what Chesterton called the thing. There it is, staring you in the face. What are you going to do? Ignore it? Walk around it? Or confront it? Deal with it. And there's only one way to deal with an opponent, really, and that's on its terms. He'd learned in his intellectual training at Cambridge, if you want to understand a poem, first you have to find out what are the terms in which the poem offers itself to your imagination. Then you can start to read it, but you don't take it on some abstract set of terms. You don't try and study it as if it were something else. You look at the poem or the painting or the music or the sculpture or whatever it is that you're dealing with. And the first thing you have to do is understand what are the terms in which this thing is to be understood. And each one will tell you if you ask the question. So he approached the Catholic Church that way. He decided to test its claims. And the only way to do that, he said, is on your knees. Obviously, if that's the terms in which the church presents itself, then that's where you have to start. You can't begin somewhere else because you won't get to your objective. St. Paul also said, you have to take the gates of heaven by storm. You don't just go knocking politely on the door and say, excuse me, I'm Eric, and I'd like to know something. Hello? No. So you walk up and you batter down the doors with prayer. You ask for faith. You see, again, it's not a human thing. It's a gift of the Holy Spirit, so you have to ask for it. It doesn't just come to you in the mail like a flyer. You have to ask for it. You have to demand it. And demand proof, evidence. You know, again, just ask politely. You walk in and you make yourself a nuisance. And it works. And it will work at any time in your life, whether you're Catholic or not. When things start to look a little rough or uncertain, use the old technique. Batter at the doors. Pretty soon, you'll get an answer or a whole load of answers in a completely unexpected way. Because heaven doesn't try and be reasonable with you. It doesn't work that way. Chesterton made this wonderful observation I've been thinking about for the last few days. He said the church is that amazing institution that is much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, which always puts me in the mind of one of Buckminster Fuller's domes, which on the outside look sort of not all that big, but you get inside and you're in a world. It's immense, huge. And the same is the experience of the church. From the outside it looks small and confined and narrow-minded, a club. But from the inside, it's bigger than the world itself. You have 2,000 years and more of intellectual activity at your fingertips, which you can now access on its terms, from the inside. Two of Chesterton's books that were of particular significance to my father, not just What's Wrong with the World, which was a lot of fun, but also a little book of his called Orthodoxy, and another not so little book called The Everlasting Man. Orthodoxy is not, it's a very off-putting title. You expect to be spoon-fed or shoveled, have stuff shoveled down your throat about Catholic doctrine. It's not like that at all. It's Chesterton talking about how he came to be a Catholic, but it's not, again, it's not the sort of usual chronological narrative. In 1932, I did this. In 1933, 4, blah, blah, blah. No, he's a much more convivial fellow than all that. And I strongly recommend even 5 or 10 pages just for a taste of what the man feels like, what he's like.